Welcome to the Deep Dive. So today we're diving into quite a mix of stuff, actually. It's all based on a listener request, someone wanting to get up to speed on things quickly, but, properly. Our source, it's bits and pieces from a morning radio show. Hashtag 2036, I tried meditation daily. Here's what happened. Get ready for some pretty unexpected links and turns as we dig in.
Absolutely. And what strikes you right away is just the sheer range of topics crammed into this one show. It really is like a snapshot of the information chaos we navigate every day.
Okay, yeah, let's try and unpack this because it's a bit of a whirlwind. I mean, right at the start, they go from talking meditation, I think, straight into a world's first sperm race.
Right. And then something about virgin therapy in a Nevada brothel.
Yeah, and Canadian election results squeezed in there, too. It's quite the spread.
It really is. It just shows how our attention gets pulled all over the place, doesn't it? From like big global things to these really personal, sometimes kind of strange human stories.
And on a more serious note, they did talk about the fertility crisis. They mentioned a 51.6% drop in sperm count.
Yeah, since 1973, which is, wow.
It really is. And they linked it to stress, obesity, environmental stuff. It definitely makes you stop and think.
It does. And it's not just about individuals, right? It points to potentially bigger issues, environmental health, maybe generational well-being, things that definitely need more looking into.
Then, like complete whiplash, they talk about gamifying this crisis with sperm races. Live streaming, commentary, like it's a sport.
And crypto betting potentially involved. How would that even work? Like, what's the mechanism there?
Well, I mean, the gamification part seems aimed at just grabbing attention, maybe raising awareness through, sheer novelty.
Yeah.
The crypto angle.
Yeah.
Probably tapping into that online speculative world, trying to hook a younger crowd, maybe.
Right. It's definitely a way to do it. Then, almost out of the blue, this Nevada brothel thing.
Yeah.
A discount for male virgins if they have a therapist's note.
Framing it as exposure therapy. Yeah. And they had this stat, over 6 million American virgins aged 25-29.
And what's interesting there is how they tried to connect it. The reliance on tech may be leading to less, face-to-face interaction. It does bring up questions about how digital life might be impacting intimacy, connection, this exposure therapy idea. I mean, it's unconventional, but the theory is about gradually facing anxieties.
It's a really weird mix, but yeah, it makes you think about how people are navigating relationships now. Okay, so massive gear shift now.
Right.
The show went into this accountability check-in segment.
Right. And after that whirlwind of topics, it actually makes sense. It highlights this need, especially if you're trying to absorb a lot like our listener, the need to pause.
Exactly. The host was saying, stop, think, realign, don't just rush around.
Yeah, that slowing down can be a strength. And that just, like being busy without a plan, that's often just fear, basically.
Good point. That idea that motion without a plan is fear in disguise.
It's a good reminder. Intentionality matters, right? Whether you're learning something new or just trying to get through the day, rushing often means you don't really grasp things.
Okay, so then they brought in this interview. Rob Gallo.
Yeah.
An entrepreneur.
Yeah, and his story is pretty intense. He had this huge online casino business.
And then, bam, a U.S. law change in 2006 just wiped it out. Overnight, basically.
It's such a stark example of how fast things can change, isn't it? And how crucial it is to be able to adapt. This port security bill had this tiny clause about illegal money transfers.
Tiny clause, huge impact. He lost, 85% of his U.S. business? Just like that.
Instantly. Yeah. Devastating.
But here's where it gets really interesting, right? He didn't just, give up.
No, he pivoted, completely changed his strategy.
Downsized the company, refocused on Europe, poker specifically.
That decision to not just fold, but to actively look for a new angle, a different market, that really shows that entrepreneurial spirit. He saw the underlying demand was still there.
And then he did this crazy promo thing, the One Sick promo.
Right. Giving away $1.2 million in prizes for the World Series of Poker.
After nearly going bust. It seems completely backwards, doesn't it?
Totally. Super risky. But it must have tapped into that high-stakes poker vibe, generated massive buzz. Probably worth way more than the actual cash in terms of profile.
Yeah, it clearly worked. Put him on the map internationally. It's a pretty amazing example of, thinking outside the box in a crisis.
Definitely.
And Gallo shared some good insights about pivoting, too. Said you need to, first figure out what caused the change.
Identify the catalyst, yeah.
Then make a conscious choice to act, not just freeze up.
Choose action over despair.
And finally, remember that the basic need, Like for gambling in his case, it often doesn't just vanish.
Those are solid lessons. For anyone facing big changes, really, understanding the core drivers helps you see new paths.
He also mentioned, kind of briefly, what happened to others in the industry who tried to, skirt the law.
Yeah, indictments, people unable to return to the U.S.
So it's a reminder that adapting is one thing, but you got to do it legally, ethically.
Absolutely. Especially when regulations get complex, you have to navigate within the lines.
What really came through, though, was Gallo's attitude. They called it a winner's mindset.
That resilience, yeah. Believing you can adapt, learn from setbacks, it's often the key difference, isn't it?
Totally. Okay, so let's shift away from casinos for a bit and get to the meditation part, the title of the show, after all. The hosts talked about their own experiences starting daily meditation.
Yeah, and I appreciated their honesty about how hard it was at first.
Right. Not immediate bliss.
No. They talked about a super busy mind, thoughts racing, to-do lists popping up, actually feeling more stressed initially, which is, really common for beginners.
Absolutely. They really emphasized that it took consistency, showing up, setting an intention, and only then did they start getting those, pockets of quiet.
Clarity started to emerge, wasn't instant magic.
Which makes sense. It's like training, isn't it? Training your brain to just be,
Yeah.
to observe without getting caught out.
Exactly. And the benefits they felt later, feeling calmer, more centered, clearer priorities, that lines up with a lot of the research on mindfulness.
Reduce stress, better focus, handling emotions better. Seems like it really paid off for them.
It sounds like it.
They also gave some practical tips, like start small, even just 1 minute a day.
Yeah, make it achievable.
And this interesting idea that answers to questions you didn't even know you had can kind of bubble up in those quiet moments.
That speaks to the subconscious, maybe. Letting things process when you reduce the noise. Creating space for insights.
Yeah, exactly. Letting your mind work things out underneath.
Okay, so then they bring Rob Gallo back in, but this time talking about his experience with transcendental meditation, TM.
Right. He explained it involves a mantra, letting thoughts drift, aiming for that flow state. Mentioned the Beatles, Maharishi.
Uh-huh. For people maybe not familiar, how's TM different from, say, mindfulness?
Good question. Well, mindfulness is often about paying attention to the now, right? Breath, sounds, feelings, without judgment. TM, as Gallo described it, uses that silent mantra repetition. The goal is more to transcend thought, reach a deeper quiet.
Gotcha. Different technique, different immediate goal, maybe.
And Gallo said he does it 20 minutes, morning and night, often with white noise.
And he mentioned superconscious creativity. What's that about?
It sounds like this idea that in that deep state, you tap into enhanced creativity, new ideas, insights, less mental chatter, more inspiration maybe.
Interesting. Accessing creativity through altered states. It's an idea that pops up in various fields. Meditation could be one way in for some people.
He did say he was skeptical at first, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and he really stressed learning it correctly from a proper teacher. Said it's crucial for it to actually work. It's not just sitting there hoping.
That makes sense. Proper technique matters. Like any skill, different methods have different steps.
They also dropped this quote from George Mumford, the meditation coach for Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant.
Oh, yeah. What was the quote?
He said, "It's okay to begin again," regarding meditation.
Ah, I like that. That's really important.
Yeah, felt very forgiving. Like, don't beat yourself up if your mind wanders or you miss a day.
Exactly. No failing at meditation. It's a practice. Every time you sit down, that's the practice. That non-judgment is key.
Okay, so moving on a bit. The show talked about Gallo's life after the casino business, consulting, and his company, Pivotal Zen.
Focusing on mindset, life balance, seems like his own experiences, maybe the meditation too, really shaped that.
Yeah, it seems like it. It shows how these practices aren't just about feeling calm. They can actually change how you approach, everything. Work, life.
And he doubled down on that mindset thing, didn't he? Saying what happens between your ears is more important than external events.
Totally echoes that winner's mindset idea from earlier.
Yeah.
Your internal state shapes how you deal with the outside world.
Right. Our thoughts, beliefs, emotions. They filter everything.
And interestingly, he also talked about his commitment to physical health. Going to the gym daily for, 35 years.
Wow. Dedication.
Yeah, he sees it as crucial for overall well-being. It all connects.
Oh, absolutely. The mind-body link is undeniable. Physical health boosts mental health and vice versa. It's a loop.
And the radio host had this great line, "One thing is the way you do everything."
I like that.
Yeah, the idea of striving to level up across the board, physical, mental, emotional, not letting one area slide.
It's that holistic view, isn't it? Well-being isn't just one thing, it's the whole package. Neglecting one part impacts the rest.
Okay, and then in another kind of surprising pivot, the show brought in A.J. Eglin to talk about men and the need for touch.
Yeah, that was interesting, especially that meta-analysis they cited. Nature, human behavior,
Over 130 studies, 13,000 people.
showing that touch, hugs, massage significantly reduced pain, depression, anxiety. In men specifically, that's pretty powerful data.
It really is. And they discussed how men often show affection through touch and need it back too, which, yeah, makes total sense.
It's fundamental, isn't it? That need for connection, physical reassurance. Touch says a lot without words.
But they also touched on the societal stuff,
Yeah.
the norms, the stereotypes that can make it hard for men to ask for or show that need for touch.
Yeah, that vulnerability isn't always encouraged by traditional masculinity, is it?
No. It really there's some of those old ideas. Create space for men to be okay with needing and expressing that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Fostering a culture where emotional and physical needs are just human needs, not gendered weaknesses.
It was interesting, too, how they noted touch between men happens naturally in high emotion moments. Sports wins, grief.
Right. Like celebrating a goal or comforting someone at a funeral. It's there.
Yeah, suggesting the need isn't innate, even if society puts barriers up sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Seems likely.
And that final thought they shared about giving love without expectation, that felt powerful, too.
Yeah, that selfless connection idea, just offering support, affection because you care. That strengthens bonds, boosts well-being for everyone.
So the show kind of circled back then, putting meditation alongside things like touch as tools for mental and emotional health, connecting back to Gallo's journey and this need for connection.
Right. Emphasizing that mindfulness is one piece of the puzzle. A truly holistic approach looks at our inner world, our need for others, our physical selves. It's all intertwined.
So wrapping up this deep dive,
Yeah.
it's kind of amazing how these scattered bits from a radio show ended up touching on such core themes, right?
Totally. Information overload, bouncing back from setbacks, the benefits of quiet reflection, and just basic human connection.
Yeah. It really makes you think about how you, listening right now, navigate all that. How do you handle the constant stream of info? How do you react when life throws a curveball?
And how do you prioritize your own well-being? Mental, emotional, even that need for connection we just talked about.
So here's the final thought to chew on. What if you consciously carved out just a few moments of quiet? Or maybe paid a bit more attention to your own need for connection, or noticed it in others? How might even small shifts like that change your daily life?
Definitely something to ponder. We'd encourage you to maybe explore these ideas more, perhaps try a tiny mindfulness exercise, or even just reach out to a friend. See what happens.